This is Morty, and she'd like to introduce you to the Atari Gamestation Go. Isn't she the cutest? Well, hello there all. I'm Retro Rob, and welcome to Retro Rob Plays Everything. If you've watched this channel, you know I cover a lot of Atari stuff. And I also cover a whole bunch of emulation handhelds. But what if you took the two and mushed them together? Yeah, like a Reese's peanut butter cup. Was that a Kit Kat commercial that did that? I think I got my references wrong. Alright, doesn't matter. Anyway, today we're taking a look at the Atari Gamestation Go. That's right. A handheld version of the Atari Gamestation, which supposedly is actually a little bit more powerful, but most importantly, pretty sure it's the only handheld I've ever seen. Well, I know it's the only handheld I've ever seen that has both a spinner and a trackball on it. I kid you not. Let's start this as we always do. Here's the front of the box. My arcade Atari Gamestation Go. Wow. It includes Pac-Man. That's apparently a big deal these days. Why Pac-Man? Why not Bentley Bear on there? Is that in here? Yeah, I'm sure it is. Anyway, 200 plus video games. And it is indeed a portable video game system. It has HDMI out. Also, wait, I'm going to change angles, but I got to show you this. Atari is very serious about packaging this time around, because look at this. Lists all the games on here. It's got some photos, but, you know, look at that. A lifty flap. That's good packaging. That's not cheap. That's not what I'm used to around here. The heck. And here's the back of the box. Features, that's what's important. 200 plus video games built in, 7-inch high resolution display, rechargeable battery, 4 to 5 hours. 4 to 5 hours. Interesting. Built-in Wi-Fi for easy updates. Integrated paddle, trackball, and keypad. That's one of the major features that made me want this. It's got smart glow technology. That's right. It indicates what controls you use, which I'm kind of excited to check out. That's new. I don't think I've ever seen that anywhere, but I suppose it's helpful if you have a million different controls on your device to be able to say which one. Game save options, and of course it connects to your TV via HDMI. Nice. Let's open it up. Tragically, I have lost the original unboxing footage. I know, it's bad. But inside the box, you will find these black pieces of tissue, which are very nice. And you're gonna find a bunch of stuff. You're gonna find this reminder to connect to Wi-Fi for updates, which there hasn't been an update yet. At least in the time of this recording. I'm on firmware 1.0. An advertisement for the new controllers. Look at this one. Look at that. Yes. The device itself, which we'll come back to in a minute. You get a very respectable HDMI cable. They were not messing around with this sucker. The rubber is pretty decent on it. The head of it, look at this. Like, I'm not kidding, it's actually a decent HDMI cable, which I know some of you are not gonna think that's a big deal, but with these handhelds, man, you get some real crap. That is not crap, that's good. Anyway, charging cable, extra long. This sucker's like a 6-footer, man, this thing's huge. And it is also of high quality, very thick, very nice. This is very quality. Other thing you get is a charger brick which missed opportunity here to use the awesome, well, I mean, nice looking Atari brick that they sell on Atari's website. Why didn't they use that? Probably so My Arcade could put their logo everywhere, which I'll mention later, I think is kind of a mistake. But anyway, keep going. Keep going. We also got inside here. Wait. A certificate of authenticity. That's right, this is not a fake one. And a little My Arcade manual. There's English. Here's the user guide. Wait, what was this one? I think this was the safety guidelines. Yeah, and then this one is the how-to, which is to the point, which can't really complain about there. All right, let's take a look around the Gamestation Go, but time's gonna pass, okay? I'm just gonna tell you right now.
Jump, cut, jump, a magic leap, hide the cracks. Don't let them sleep, whoops a glitch you didn't see. Slide and fade, oh what a ride. Spin the screen, your doubts subside. Transitions hide, transitions glide.
All right, quick walk around of the Atari Gamestation Go. First thing you're going to notice is that some of the controls are lit up, and the reason they're lit up, and I'm putting putting a little shadow on there so you can see it, is that this game supports these controls, which is a really, really cool feature. Note that though you can add games, if you add games, those games will not support it. Only the built-in games support this. But anyway, so this uses A and it uses the paddle. Really cool, right? I really, really like that. It's nice. It's a smart feature, and it's, you know, nothing you really need, but it stands out. All right. Here we have the paddle right here. See the paddle? It's quite good. I found most of the time I can use it without adjustment. In some games you can adjust its sensitivity. In some games you cannot. Almost always I find when it doesn't have it, it really could have used it. And in the games where it has it, you don't really need it, but that's just me. Next, we have the D-pad right here, and I'm going to turn it sideways so you can see that it has a little bit of an uptick at the end. It's got a lift like a wedge, and that's good stuff. I generally like that on a D-pad. The other thing is, while it's not overly soft, it doesn't feel like a Nintendo one at all, really. It does a pretty good job of snapback, and it has absolutely no D-pad collapse syndrome, which is when you press one direction and press the other, and it stays stuck so you can't go the other direction. It has none of that. So it's not, I'm going to be honest, it's not amazing, but it is not bad and is perfectly fine for, I haven't seen a game where it hasn't been perfectly fine, to be honest. So pretty good, pretty good. Next, we got the roller controller here, and this thing is awesome. I really, really like this thing. It can be overly sensitive, just so you know, always in games where you can't adjust it, of course, and it's still just, it's really cool. When it works well, it's pretty amazing. Next, we got ABXY. Oops, sorry. ABXY. Those work as expected. At first, I thought they were a little too clicky. You can kind of hear it. I got used to it. The general construction's pretty good. You can't bend it or twist it too much, but it is a little light. So it's not terrible quality, but the plastics could have used to have been a little bit heavier. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'll stick by it. Anyway, we got a numpad, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is absolutely perfect for playing 5200 games, and it seems to work fine when you load outside 5200 games. Haven't tried it on the Colecovision yet, so if you tried it on the Colecovision, let me know. We've got on top We got settings, credit. Thank you for making an actually marked credit button. You've got select and start right here. On the bottom, you got basically nothing. I'll pull back and show you. There's nothing there. Oh, it's blurry. Oh, autofocus. You suck. Right side. Left side. Now let's go to the top where all the action's at. All right, looking at the top. Let's start with L1, L2, R1, R2. So it's got all of the needed shoulder buttons. Note that these are digital. They're not analog. They're on or off. So like on an Xbox, you'd notice that it's got an analog control right here, so that there's basically a analog curve. So you can say like be at half speed and then full speed when you're racing. On this, you're always wide open if you're playing a racing game. Most of the games here, doesn't matter, but just noting it for the sake of being complete. On-off button is this big red guy right here. And then next to it, you've got the home button. So you hit this button to go home. I'll demonstrate that a little bit later when we're in the menus. You got the micro SD card for loading on new ROMs, which you absolutely can do. And I will talk about that a little bit, just a basic run through in a little bit so you can get started. You've got charging light, USB-C port, HDMI port, headphones. You know what? Thank you for putting the headphone jack in there. I do appreciate it. And volume down, volume up. I prefer a slider or, you know, like one of those little rolly things. But you know what? I'll take it. It looks fine. So on the back, we've got a couple more USB-C ports. That is so you can plug in some controllers if you want to play with a friend. Yeah, that's good too. That is, I'm just saying, that's good for a thought. The other thing you have is a built-in stand, which works quite nicely. I believe it's metal. It feels like it's not going to fall off. I do kind of wish it was a loop like some other consoles, but you know what? They gave me a stand and I'm not complaining because I actually find I use it quite a bit with this one. All right, I think that is about it for the outside of this. All right, main menu. Got staff picks, the Atari 2600 collection, which is pretty good. Also note that it has some gameplay demos when you're scrolling through. I like that as well. If I press left, I'll go back to the system selection. Right selects a game. A would start it. Atari 5200, there's not a whole lot here, which is another reason why you'd want to add some games to it through the TF card. 7800. Atari Arcade. There's a lot of great games in this, actually. And I'm very, very, very super happy that they put iRobot in here because I love that game. Absolutely love it. Most of the games I found run pretty decently. Occasionally there's a whack or two, but it hasn't been too bad. Got the M Network collection, which is mostly... There's a lot of football and baseball if you like sports games, early 8-bit sports games. There's some of them that I like, and there's some of them that I don't. So, you know, I kind of wish they would have put more of the M Network stuff in here, though. Okay, multiplayer games. This is basically from all these other sections. And then you've got favorites. How do I add a favorite? Okay, let's go in the Atari Arcade and look at, say, Asteroids. If I want Asteroids to be a favorite, I hit X. See that? And then you got recents. So if you found a cool game and you want to play it again, you can go back. Now, guess what? Atari's only one section of what's in here. And when it boots up, it comes up to this. You've got Balls of Steel, which is a whole bunch of actually really fun to play pinball machines. I momentarily lost the word for pinball machine. I just called it finball machine. Why? What's wrong with me? Pac-Man. I just want you to see this because it's kind of, yeah, kind of sad. They probably should have put a little more Pac-Man in there. Could have used a bit more Pac-Man in there, guys. Jellico. Do I got that right? I learned how to pronounce it once and then utterly forgot. It's separated by bit class, so 8-bit, 16-bit. Arcade. Definitely look through this section, by the way. So some of the arcade games they've got in here are really good. This makes me sad. It's a great game, but it doesn't. Why? It's got a steering wheel on it. It doesn't use this. Okay? It doesn't use the paddle. I know. Then they got the multiplayer favorites. Same thing. Pico. 8-bit. Hey, you know what's really weird? Hey, that's interesting. It shows no recents. Oh, no, it does show Cisco Heat, but it doesn't show any of the other ones. Anyway, Pico. Got 8-bit, 16-bit arcade. Same thing. Play Gym Power. It's frustrating, but fun. Just saying. Got Top Racer in here, by the way. Locally, we used to call this, Top Gear. But in Europe, they called it Top Racer because they didn't want to go into a licensing fight with Top Gear people. At least that's my theory. But in the U.S., Top Gear. Here, Top Racer. Great games. Used to play this with my wife all the time. Well worth playing. All right. Not a lot in the arcade section, I'll admit it. But definitely worth trying is World Rally. I love that game, and it works really well with the D-pad. And it's meant to work with a D-pad, as I recall, or at least a joystick. You know what? I absolutely lied to you. Look you can see the steering wheel right there. And I'm an idiot. Utterly an idiot. Okay. Whatever, but it uses the D-pad. Wait. Let's see if I'm lying about that. Am I lying? No, I played it. Gah. Yeah, see, D-pad. See how it lit up? Nice. A and B. Accelerator, brake. Pretty sweet. All right. Let's go back. And if I want to go back, hit that button. Multiplayer games. That means obviously it's not online. At least not at this time. They could add it. Who knows? Favorites, recent. Same stuff. Settings. You got display, which is basically just brightness. Turn the music on or off. For God's sake, turn it off. Turn it off. Update. Haven't seen an update yet. Really appreciate that I gave my network name, but most of the world seems to know that these days anyway. Factory reset, register. At least it didn't give the password, right? This just is a scanner, so you can go to register it. Factory reset is pretty obvious. FAQs and some legal stuff. So not a lot really in there, you know. You can, by the way, if you need to set your Wi-Fi, this is how you do it. You go into update and select network. Atari Recharged series. I wish there were more of them in here. But I'll tell you this. Breakout Recharged works with the paddle. And this is a good experience here. It's a very good experience, in fact. Let's turn this up a little. Okay, and there's what it sounds like. Sound, nothing to write home about. You know, it's a little bit tinny. I kind of wish they'd invest a little bit more in the speakers. And by the way, I think I got this. Do I have this cranked? It doesn't get particularly loud either. So that's a note. In fact, it's a bit quieter than many smaller units I've played. There we go. Yeah, this is... for younger gamers, I don't know how you'll feel about this, but playing Breakout with a paddle is just absolutely marvelous. And look at, if I go faster, it'll go much faster. I'm trying not to mess it up, but that's one of the big advantages of using this to play this game. And absolutely love this game and enjoy it. So, which is the same thing. If I love it, I probably enjoy it. I don't know. I love it, but I hate it. I don't know. No, I don't. But really nice. Here's Centipede Recharged real quick. And I just wanted to show you a game that uses the trackball and is very effective. This works wonderfully. Just telling you, it is a joy to play. Except when I'm holding it down like this. Jeez, this is not... It's much easier to play when you're holding it with both hands in your lap, but this is pretty close to worth the price of admission for me, just because I get a kick out of using the trackball. But I guess I could do it in emulation on a PC, but you know, I can carry this guy around with me, and yeah, nothing else I can say, but it's well implemented. It works well, and it's the first time I've seen it on a handheld, so that's a big plus, right? Oh, come on, dude, get out of here. Pick up. Yeah. Screen is bright, colorful. You know, it's not super amazing in this day and age of ultra bright OLED screens, but it holds its own. It looks nice, and they didn't chintz out on it, at least. Here we go. Definitely nice. Now I'm gonna go plug this guy in to the screen and play some more games, but before I do that, I am going to show you how to add new games on. Alrighty then, let's do some built-in games. I'll probably do one from each section. I think that would probably work pretty good. Maybe a couple. And then we'll play some games off the TF card. That should be Berzerk Recharged. I first played this on the new Atari VCS. And I was wondering how the heck they were going to get the control scheme working here. And I see they use the old Super Nintendo trick of mapping the 4 buttons. Because this is a dual stick shooter on the new Atari VCS and on the PC. So yeah, that works good enough. I know it took a little bit of heat for changing the classic game into a dual stick shooter. But honestly, I think the game's better off for it. I also think if Berzerk had been made a few years later, it probably would have been a dual stick shooter anyway, because those controls just make sense for this kind of layout. And it's actually quite a fun game, you know. Atari has done a good job generally in reimagining these games, and even when they're not absolutely perfect, which this one by all means is not absolutely perfect, they're still quite good and quite fun to play. Ah, crap. Went the wrong way. Anyway, that's Berzerk Recharged, and it's definitely worth playing. To be honest, I honestly think this game... Boy, I said honest a lot, so I'm lying, apparently. Was that my grandma that used to say that? Anyway, when you say you're saying something honestly, you're always lying. Never got me out of the habit of saying that, you know? Honestly, I have some gray hair, see? I mean, that's honest, right? Let's go on. It is a good game, though. I like it. This is Agent X. It's a dual stick shooter that uses ABXY for shooting. And I'm going to tell you what. I don't think I played this game before, but I really like it. Oh God, get out of here. Almost blew up. But anyway, yeah, you have to grab some plans and escape before the building blows up or the level blows up. But it's pretty intense, and I really, really like it. Oh, what the hell's that thing? Yeah, I'm gonna play this again in the future. Get the plans, exit. Freaking great. I love it. I will be covering more Atari, but later on when I show you stuff that I'm playing off of my TF card. Hang in there. This is Devil's Island Pinball from the Balls of Steel collection. One of several tables that are available. And I'm just going to show you a little bit about it. I haven't played much of this, to be honest, so no real expertise, but I do like the fact that they implemented the shoulder buttons for the flippers. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. And I will say this. It's really, really fun to play pinball on this. I would say that I prefer playing off of the built-in screen versus playing it through HDMI. It appears to be a little bit chunkier when I'm playing it through the HDMI cable. Like there's a little bit of frame drop. But on the screen itself, it plays really, really well and quite fun. And I'm glad they added these to the list of games. All right. I'm losing focus. I need to go on. I want to play, though. No. Gotta go on. Alright, this is the Pac-Man section. I'm not going to bother actually playing Pac-Man because you know what this game is. But I am going to note that there's the Atari 2600 version of Pac-Man, which is weak. Classic mode, which is the arcade game, so that's really good if you enjoy it. And then there's speed up mode. They kind of lost an opportunity to put a few more Pac-Man games in here. There's a lot of Pac-Man related games that maybe they could have licensed and would have really added to this. Yeah, maybe in a future update, huh? Rodland on the Jellicoe collection. And if you like Bubble Bobble, you'll probably like this one a little bit. It's a nice take. Collect them up, but this is like the best part. Yeah. Beat the heck out of him. Yeah, and then blow him up with his buddy's missile body. Or whatever. Still, I like this game. It's pretty cool. Ah, I messed that up. Yeah, he's gonna come down now. I don't think I have room to beat him up. Do this. Do that. Talk about delayed reaction. It's gonna get fast if I don't hurry up. Come here, guys. Come on. Take your beat down. Joy. Pure joy. It's Lucky Boom from the Pico collection, which is essentially Pang with a new coat of paint on it. But it's actually, in my opinion, a pretty fun game. I made a mistake early on here. Yeah. Really, you should focus on splitting one balloon down into smaller balloons, or whatever the heck these things are. Shoot. This is unfortunate. There we go. Instead of what I'm doing, which is just splitting up everything and giving myself more stuff to have to deal with. I'm not playing it well. Not playing it well at all. Not following my own instructions. But still, the game itself is quite good and definitely worth a look if you pick this up. Yeah, I'm doing terrible. Before we go on to the TF card, let's take a look at water margin from Pico Interactive. Only because I don't think I've done a beat 'em up in my gameplay yet, so let's beat some people up. That's always fun. Always fun. General Tong Guan. It's a great name. Heroes of the Water Margin. Here we go. I haven't played this one before either, which is kind of nice seeing some games that I haven't played before on one of these collections. Are they just gonna stand there forever? Those two? Oh, crap. Alright, if I know my beat 'em ups, there should be like a special attack. So where's that? There's jump. What? There's no like magic attack yet? Maybe it comes later? No. No, there isn't. Wait. Three lights are lit up, telling me that 3 buttons are used. So, oh, you son of a biscuit. Stop it. Stop moving. Oh, come on. There. Beatdown time. That was good. There we go. There we go. I had to pick it up first. Yeah, burn, baby, burn. Yeah, this is acceptable stuff right here. Reminds me of the glory days of the Super Nintendo. Ah, good times indeed. Let's see if there's some kind of boss battle here. Come on. I want a boss to kick my butt. Don't drop your guard. No. Clearly, I should be jumping more. There we go. Money. Money, money. Get out of here, cut rate Wolverine. What am I saying? I can't speak anymore. I need more coffee. Clearly. Would have been a good line if I didn't fumble it. Oh, you... Mm-mm. Oh, I didn't get to throw it. Come on. Oh, Boy, she's really staying off screen. Ah! Beat down. More beat down. This is bringing me great joy. Go, go, go. I really do believe, and I think most of you will agree, if you have like a go arrow, it should always like have a voiceover saying go, go, go. That should definitely be a thing. Definitely. All right, here's there we go. The big bad, or a big bad. Get dead. Just get dead. Come on. No. No, no. Come on. No, you need... Die, elite soldier. Oh, he kicked my butt there. There we go. There we go. Oh, no, it's Tong Gong. Dude's got like 1,000,000 freaking hit points. Wait. Water damage. That did quite a bit of damage to him. All right. So, use magic to kick his butt. Now he's on fire. That's a really nice effect, too. All right. Finish him off. Oh, you ass. No. Got him. Oh, that was an annoying dodge he did. Yes! All right. Let's go take a look at some stuff that I installed on the TF card. Quick overview of adding new games to your Atari Gamestation Go. First thing to note, you need a TF card. It's these tiny little itty bitty ones, okay? You need to format it in the exFAT format. If you do not know what I just said there, don't worry about it. It's probably formatted in it anyway. That's just for the benefit of people who may have formatted it as something else for some other purpose. Okay, once you have your TF card inserted in your computer, you'll need to create a folder called Games with a capital G. The capital G is very important because the Gamestation knows what it is. Someday we'll have some kind of tech talk about that, about my annoyance with OSs that don't recognize the differences between caps and lowercase, but it should be that way. It should recognize the difference. Anyway, these two guys right here, ignore them. Why why network time protocol? Why is that put there? Anyway, the Atari puts these there, so don't worry about it. That's for your save states. I don't know why it does its NTP settings there. No idea. Anyway, go into the games folder. Folder names generally, as far as I can tell, do not matter at all except for one. It is the Atari 2600 paddle folder. If you have a paddle game, you need to place the ROM for it in there. Otherwise, it will use the D-pad, which is bad. Rest of the 2600 games can go in here. They need to be in the A26 format. 5200 games, A52. 7800, you see where this is going, A78. And then the Lynx.ly. LNX, sorry, .lnx. I've got a list of a bunch of other formats that I believe work with this, and they're up on the screen right now, so take note. Let me know if some of those don't work or if you know some extra ones that I don't know. I hear this can do everything up to the PlayStation 1 if you use PDP files for it, which is the PlayStation portable format, oddly enough. But that's basically it. I've added a whole bunch of games, and let's show you how they work. Now let's put the TF card in and see what happens. Maybe put it in the right way. It drives me nuts. That's really common, by the way. Welcome to Rob's Pet Peeve Corner. That the TF card gets put in upside down from where you're facing. It drives me crazy. And it's really common. It's not just this device. All right, there we go. I have short fingernails. All right, here we go. You can change from local storage to micro SD card. If you exit the micro SD card, you're not going to be able to get back in until you either reboot or you pop out the card and pop it back in. Let me know if you have a better solution to that, but that's all I found. And that's another note. This menu will come up every time you boot, as long as you have the SD card in, or TF card in. Just so you know. Just so you know. All right, there we go. Here's my folders I created. I can see all my games. Atari 5200. Generally speaking, I've found that the pad just works with these. I haven't had a problem with that. So that's good. 7800. It just goes through the menu like this. One thing that I did notice on my 2600 ROMs, they are not fully in alphabetical order. What the heck? So it might be by date thing for when you dropped it in, but if you look at the end, all of a sudden I'm back in K after W. See that? So that's kind of annoying. Not a big deal, but figured I should tell you about it. One cool thing I'm going to show you in a minute is you can run Supercharger games on this. So that is really freaking nice. I was going to show you this real quick. Okay, so, oh wait, should I show you it? Here, I'm going to show you it in here. Hang in there. You'll appreciate this. I know you're asking me, why didn't I hit like back, like the left one? And the answer is because I'm an idiot. All right, so here's Kaboom, and it is in my A26 directory. And I'm going to just hit start here, and look at this. Doesn't work, but that does work. Got it? All right, now I'm going to hit the home, and then I'm going to go back here. It's B to go back, by the way. And then drop it in the 2600 paddle directory. And, oh, hit start, sorry. Look at that. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, all right, not absolutely brilliant, but I'm super happy that it works. Definitely playable. All right, so back in the day, there was a thing called the Supercharger by Starpath. I think they used to call it the Arcadia Supercharger, and then there was like some kind of... Anyway, doesn't matter. Does not matter. What matters is there was a device that would attach to your Atari 2600, and it would add RAM to it. The games were then loaded from tape. So it literally just had... It literally had a headphone adapter plug, and you plugged it into your tape deck and rewound and pressed play, and it would load the game. And a lot of emulators are able to load these games now, but a lot aren't. But I am very happy to say that this one absolutely can load Supercharger games. And man, I remember when I got my Supercharger, it was just so great. So great. And I had almost every game for it, but one of the games I never could get was the Supercharger version of Frogger, which unfortunately was not it was available, but they didn't seem to sell it in my region. So I would have had to have mail ordered for it. I guess they thought it was going to be a major seller for them. Sorry if this is like way too loud. I'll turn it down after this one. But anyway, absolutely happy that this works, and I'm pretty happy to be playing some of my favorite Supercharger games on the go. Yeah, this is good stuff right here. This is Frogger on the Atari 5200 game system. It was, in my opinion, nearly unplayable, to be honest. You had some choices. You could use your joystick and then press A to confirm your move because it had an analog joystick that wasn't very reliable. And this needs some precision. Or you could use the 0 button on your keypad, set it to slow for sanity's sake, and then play it with the keypad on the 5200. I don't think I'd be saying anything risky if I told you that this number pad is superior to the one on the 5200. I think that's a fair thing to say. And this game is actually fun now. Good job.
Do you want to be a real gamer? Do you want to see every episode of Retro Rob Plays Everything just as it comes out?
How much would you pay to have that ability? $100? $1,000? $1 million frickin' dollars? Well, guess what? If you hit subscribe right now and ring that bell, you can get every episode of Retro Rob Plays Everything as they come out for free. And you'll be a real gamer. Whatever that means. So you desperately want to play Midnight Mutants on your favorite Atari handheld, but it's not built in? Well, guess what? You can add it to your TF card and play away to your heart's content. So, is it the Al Jolson thing that... Is that why, like, Atari never puts this on any of their collections? I don't think I've ever seen it. Am I wrong about that? I'm almost sure that they've never put it in a collection. And it's... I'm wondering, is it Grandpa Munster? Is that what it is? It's this guy, right? This guy. Help! The wicked Dr. Evil has risen from the grave. Lies from the grave and imprisoned me inside a plastic pumpkin. Or a plasmic pumpkin. It's not plastic. It must be plasmic. It's not a T. I can't be with you, but I can give you clues which may help. Whenever you need me, press the right button, and I might have some good advice. So if you press it again, it tells me where the knife is. Alright. Yeah, I just keep getting hit. Come on, you. Oh, I hate these things. There it is. Gimme. Alright, that's it. Yeah. Come here. Come here. What? Yes! Killed him. I feel like I've really done my job here. Anyway. Kind of wish this would have been more popular. I died quick. Checkered flag on the Atari Lynx. I'm going to turn this down just a little. Just a wee bit. 8-bit games can tend to be a little overbearing in the audio. I'm terrible at this game, just so you know. I'm terrible. So I'm sorry for what you're about to witness. I'm kind of surprised they didn't put the Atari Lynx on here, like as an official game or as an official system they support, but whatever. So one annoyance is that the A button's mapped way up at the top as the Y button on here. So note that when you're not using officially supported games, that your button mappings, I can't believe myself, your button mappings may be a little messed up. And that's just life, folks. Life when you're living outside the box. There we go. Getting somewhere. I'm going to tell you guys something. It's pretty much guaranteed that I'm going to come in first position, no matter how much I mess up. I should not talk and play at the same time. For somebody who streams regularly, I am definitely a person who should not ever talk and play at the same time. Let's go on. All right, I always do a little bit more than I say I'm going to do, and this is, of course, no exception. I want to try Total Carnage for the Super Nintendo. And what I'm testing for is whether the buttons are mapped correctly, because that matters a lot. Yeah, they're not. So let's go into settings. Can I? Yeah, and I can't change the controls. And I can't save or load, which that seems to be across any game that I add to the TF card. So you can do some limited Super Nintendo emulation, but unfortunately, without the ability to remap the keys, a lot of games are going to be a problem here. All right, Colecovision. Here is a problem too. I don't see any of them. And I'm going to display the directory because I do have Coleco games in here in the .col format. Yeah, it doesn't see them. It would have been really nice because that and the Intellivision actually have, you know, like numeral pads on them. And that would really, really help that. Kind of a bummer. If you had a better experience, let me know. Zonk, probably my favorite TurboGrafx 16 game of all time, and honestly one of the best shooters in my opinion ever made. I absolutely love this game. I don't think I finished it, honestly, and I've played it quite a bit. Anyway, every few years I come back to it and promise I'm going to finish it and then don't. Anywho, what's the deal here? Same deal as Super Nintendo. The buttons are not mapped correctly, which is not optimal. It's A and Y. But again, you were never promised this on this console. They never said, hey, it's going to run your TurboGrafx 16 games. So consider it a bonus. And, you know, you throw an extra game or two on here. It's good enough for a pinch, you know? Anyway, this is the end of the gameplay portion. We're going to wrap things up with my party thoughts on the Atari Gamestation Go. Damn, I love this game. All right, we've hit the end of the gameplay, and now it's time to tell you what I loved, what I liked, and what I didn't like so much about the Atari Gamestation Go. What I love, the selection of built-in games is really quite excellent, except for maybe the Pac-Man section. But hey, I'll take a game wherever I can get it. There's plenty of fun games. There's some that I hadn't actually played yet, which is nice because that doesn't happen that often these days. And there's a wide variety of different types of games to play. There's even an RPG or two, so not bad. I love the smart glow lighting. It's unique, it's neat, and it's somewhat functional. You know what? I'm gonna say it's more than somewhat. I'll say it's actually decently functional. Too bad it doesn't work with the games that you add on. It would be nice if you could program it. Anyway, I love the paddle. I absolutely love the trackball. Yes, they could use a little bit of work. No, they don't work on all the games that you'd like them to, even games that originally supported paddle, but it's still really cool and it's fun to play on a device that isn't my original Atari and that I can just carry around. So that's really cool. I also love that they added a couple extra USB ports in the back so that you can add a couple controllers. That's really, really nice. I mean, they didn't have to do it because you could always put it on a hub like you can with other small devices, but, you know, it's included. I also like the look and design of this device. I think it looks pretty darn modern day Atari, and it fits. You know, it just kind of fits the design of the machine. It's attractive looking is what I'm saying, and unique. It's special. My likes on the Atari Gamestation Go. Number one, the screen. I like the size of it. I like the appearance of it. It's a nice, clear, colorful screen. It isn't amazing. It's definitely not like it's not my Steam Deck OLED, but unlike my Steam Deck and pretty much every other screen I have not had to wear my reading glasses to see the screen. It's really quite good. Maybe it was just designed for old people or something. I don't know. But anyway, I really like it. I also like the D-pad. Yes, it's nothing to write home about, but also you're not feeling like you're struggling with it. Nobody's going to be sitting there saying, oh, I didn't do well on this game because of the D-pad. And that's honestly all you can ask out of these devices, because even really large companies struggle with D-pads on their handhelds. PlayStation Portable. Anyway, the buttons themselves are acceptable. They don't feel amazing, but once you get used to them, they're okay. And I'm talking about the A, B, X, Y buttons, and also the triggers on top. They're okay. I like that it switched over to a screen saver. That's kind of cool. I like the stand. It's a nice addition. Wish it had a loop, but you know what? It's pretty well built, and I don't feel like it's going to break, so that's pretty good as well. The construction quality overall is solid. It is not as thick or as strong of a build, I guess is the word. I don't know. But anyway, it's not quite a Steam Deck or a ROG Ally X or even a Nintendo Switch. But it's pretty close to that. It's good. It's definitely a lot better than many of the larger handheld Android devices that are out on the market. And I don't feel like it's going to break, so pretty good. Pretty good. Battery life, it pretty much gets what it said on the box. Minus an hour and maybe even plus about 15 minutes within that range, depending on what you're playing. So not too bad. And also, I like the fact that they included this number pad. That's nice, right? Got no complaints there. It's good. All right, on to the dislikes. All right, dislikes. While I like the fact that you can play games from other systems, it's quite clear that the TF card expansion is an afterthought. It's not very well implemented. The emulation is lacking a bunch of features that even some of the cheapest Chinese handhelds have, and it's clunky. It's very, very clunky. I'm glad they added it, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not well implemented. But then again, it'll work in a pinch. I just wouldn't make it my main emulation device. The other thing is some arcade games that use trackballs. In fact, I'm going to say it across the board. Some games that use trackballs and the spinner don't use it in this. Notably, Indy 500 uses joystick, which is kind of weird on the Atari 2600. I should have put that on the thing and tested it, but unfortunately I've recorded like a whole bunch of footage. I'm already worried about fitting it in. Anyway, so sorry I got off on a tangent there. But Atari Football, which is a game I used to play at Shakey's here in Racine a whole lot, it doesn't use a trackball. Why? Just why? Other things I don't like is that in some cases, like with Crystal Castles, the trackball is a little bit overly sensitive on it. Just saying. And I'm going to point out that options are not consistent across the platform, so hitting the menu doesn't always give you the ability to save in a game, although it often does. Again, just, features like being able to adjust the sensitivity of the controls, even though it uses like a paddle or a trackball, it doesn't necessarily give you the ability to modify the sensitivity of it, which kind of sucks. It's a bummer. Also, the sound level is a little bit low for my taste. The sound itself is okay. It's not anything to write home about, but I would like it to be a little bit louder because sometimes you're in a loud location, you want to be able to hear it. That said, hey, plug in some headphones, you'll be fine. The other thing, I'm gonna get it for this, but you know what? Put the My Arcade logo on the back. Really, the strength of this and why people are buying it and why it's getting so much news is because of the Atari branding. I know, but if you just put My Arcade on it, would you have heard of it? Probably not. I mean, maybe if you watch this channel, because I cover a lot of their stuff, but let the Atari branding carry through and, maybe put, made by My Arcade on the back. Putting it front and center, it ruins the aesthetics to me. All right, fine, I'm a weirdo, whatever. All right, all in all, number one, who's this for? People like me that like to collect everything would be an obvious one, but you know, you could say that about any item. I think if you are an Atari fan and don't have a to-go system and you want to play Atari games with the original trackball, well, not the original, you know what I mean, with a trackball or with the spinner knob, this is quite clearly for you. I definitely wouldn't buy it as an emulation device specifically, but to get some Atari goodness and play the wide selection of built-in games on it, I think you'll probably like it, honestly. I think I know that it tries to do everything. That's always a recipe for disaster. But in this case, I think I'm looking at it, by the way. That's why I'm looking off screen. I think that all in all, I think they pulled it off. It's not a perfect device, don't get me wrong, but it's a good one, and I like playing it. So, thumbs up on this. I want to thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in a couple days. Bye.
It's got a trackball spinning like a dream, a little arcade in my pocket it seems. I'll trade my sleep, I'll skip my lunch for that sweet handheld. I got a hunch. Oh, Atari Gamestation Go. I'll take the rain, I'll take the snow. I'll sit through traffic slow as a crawl. If I can have that spinner and trackball. The buttons click, the pixels glow. Retro magic on the go. I'll stand in line, I'll clean my room for that handheld glory. It's my monsoon. Oh, Atari Gamestation Go. I'll wear a sweater in the desert glow. I'll walk on Legos down the hall. If I can have that spinner and trackball. It's my joystick joy, my 8-bit dream makes the future feel supreme. I deal with chaos, I'd brave the fall for that spinning trackball. For it all. Oh, Atari Gamestation Go. I'll take the heat, I'll take the snow. I'll climb a mountain 10 feet tall just to hold that spinner and trackball.